Welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Nain Shorts, where we have random conversations about training and hopefully entertain you just enough to watch the entire episode. Share with your friends, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and all that wonderful stuff. Before we begin, I wanted to let everybody know that, October 20th? October 20th, our good friend Johnny Oliva is going to be having a stick and knife seminar at his place in San Carlos. So look out for that. It's on Facebook. I know he posted his information. We'll add something at one point, right?
We will.
Yeah, we will. So
maybe we'll see.
We'll see. At the end of it.
At the end of it.
Should I rewatch this episode to find out before I make a fool of myself again?
No, you'll be good.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So keep an eye out for that. Johnny Oliva. Find him on Facebook. That's Twin Dragon Kung Fu Academy. In San Carlos, so if you need to look it up, please do so. Make time for that. He is an awesome instructor and is a well of knowledge. It just happens he's sharing a little bit of it with us, and it's incredibly affordable. It's only $30, I think, for the seminar. $30, and it's from like 10 to 1:30, I believe.
Yep. So
it's definitely great for the price, but also the knowledge is going to be stupendous. So please make some time to go out there. October 20th. It is a Sunday. So hope to see you there. That being said, student development. Now, we go to seminars because we want to get different takes, different ideas, or just look at arts that we've never been introduced to before and see how we feel about them. Maybe we can pick something up along the way. But it always boils down to the individual student, what they take from it. Now, depending on how they were brought up in their training in their schools, it's either going to be, oh, that's crap because I don't understand it or has nothing to do with the art that I learned. Obviously, that's not the reason. They just say that's crap because it isn't our stuff. And they do it respectfully. It's not like they go out there and say it in front of everybody, but maybe that's what they think. I know at one point I thought that until it was beaten out of me. And now it's a different process. It's like, what can I take from this? What can I learn from this for me, the individual? Can I take this back and show everyone else my interpretation of it? But again, it boils down to the individual growth. So when it comes... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's... I'm good you're bringing that part of it up because, seminars can be very productive even if you're not in that system.
Oh, yes.
In that you are learning what the other people are doing. But if you're savvy enough, you can actually incorporate it to what you're doing. I'm like you. In the beginning, I was like, seminars, they're not doing what we do. This is senseless and whatever, right?
They'll never work in the street.
Yeah. And, as you grow and you learn and you become more mindful of what's being taught, you realize, no, everything has a place. And how you decide to dissect whatever it is you're learning and then incorporate it to what you do,
right?
You find that you create something new for yourself that could become very useful at any given time. So, yeah, good for you to bring that up because a lot of, like you said, we were once that.
Right. You take it at face value, that's all it'll ever be.
Yeah.
If you go beyond it and understand it as best as you can, at whatever level you are, you will find, like you said, those little pieces that will enhance what you do already. But again, it boils down to that individual person and how they're brought up. And I'd like to bring up my daughter. She's 14 now. Nisa, she's been training for us almost a year now, I guess it would be.
Year and a half, maybe. A little bit more than
a little bit more than a year? Okay. And
mind you, she's been watching us since she was 4 years old.
That is also very true. So, how much of it is her own intuition? How much of it is just peeling back layers of memories that were just kind of like implanted into her from just being at the gym with me every Saturday and Sunday and sometimes 3 to 4 times a week at my place?
Yep.
Dude, COVID, they saw a lot of training because they had nothing else to do, which is kind of awesome. But
she's actually made reference to that to me.
Really?
She would tell me, I remember when you used to teach Dad about this and that, and bring up those lessons. So yeah, she was paying attention. So
okay, this is the first time that I'm hearing about this. So thanks for letting me know now. But whatever.
What the heck?
Well, here's the thing, folks. Like, it's one thing for me to show her a few things and help her with the training. It's a whole different thing to be her instructor. For those of you who have children, especially if children aren't training with you as instructors, you know what I'm talking about. There's a disconnect there, especially when it comes to daughters, I think. Boys, I think you can get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But for girls, it's a whole different thing. So having Rick around to be able to lead her down that path helps me a whole lot, because what I'm seeing in her now is she's got the bug. She wants to learn. She wants to advance. She's picking up ideas and concepts that took me a hell of a lot longer to understand, which, I'm sure Rick will say it's just because I'm stupid and she's smart.
Pretty much.
Some truth to that, but never.
Not a truth to that.
Shut up.
Just saying.
But to see her growth, like, there isn't a bigger Papa moment. And from your take, other than me being stupid, what do you think is really like that key to her growth? What has really made her come out of that shell?
I think the one thing that I noticed, and this happened probably during the summer, we had to do a summer class for the gym, but we'd had a bunch of kids come in who had nothing else to do with the summer.
And the parents were like, "We need a babysitter." No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
And but you had her teach the classes.
Yep.
And I think giving her that responsibility really, when all was said and done, and after that summer, she was just really excited about being in class, and she was really, you could see the changes. I mean, you're giving basic, simple class stuff, but when she would come back after that, her ideas of things were a lot more clear as to how things should be done. Obviously, I took it upon myself to actually train her,
Right.
so that, like you said, it's hard to train anybody in your family, because you either get lazy or like, dad's training me.
Right. So they kind of close that door before.
It's like me. I can't teach my wife to do anything.
Nope.
Because we'll get into fights, right? But she, you offer, I'll do it, and she's like, yeah, okay, I'll train with him. Same difference.
Yeah.
But in training with Nisa, I tell you, she's got this incredible intuition about her, about when and how to strike certain things, and she sees things very clear in her head, which is one thing that I admire about her, and she's really just been a joy to work with. At the end of this video, I'll actually insert a clip where she and I are training.
Okay, yeah.
And I tell you, when you look at that video, she's kicking my ass, in that she sees things out of the corner of her eye, and she'll attack those targets, and I'm just totally blown away by it. So yeah, I think she's, like you said, she's got that bug. She's a lot more focused about training, and trying to get better as we go.
So I mean, just based on this example, it feels like for her, anyways, it was taking the mantle of responsibility.
Yeah, I think, by, and we do this with all our kids, right?
Right.
We tell them, I want you to teach today. We'll pick a random kid and say, hey, you're doing the exercises today, you teach the exercises,
Right.
or we'll have them teach something that we know that they know, and say, okay, have at it. And they aren't teaching just kids; they're teaching the adults and
Right.
whoever's in class. So, for that responsibility, they know they have to be serious, because the adults are looking at them. Okay, you're it, But Nisa has taken it to a higher level, where all of our students, no matter what age they are, have really respect her a lot. They, it's been told to me by the adults, yeah, she'll come around and look at what we're doing, and then give opinions or ideas, and they find it to be very helpful.
Even our good friend Dennis stopped by and said,
Yeah.
wow, this kid is doing stuff that a lot of practitioners aren't doing for, not within the first year or two of their training.
Right, yeah. So, I'm real happy with how she's coming about and is really focused in on the training and teaching it.
Right.
Yeah.
But like you said, I don't think that's the best phrasing we could use, and teaching it.
Yeah.
I think the teaching is the reason she's doing so good.
We've always said, right?
Yeah.
to be a good student, you have to be a good teacher, and to be a good teacher, you have to be a good student.
Right? Vice versa, right? They feed each other,
Right.
But no, that summer program was it was less about teaching Nisa the responsibility of teaching, and more about, hey, I need help because it's going to be just me, and I have a bunch of unknown variables with these kids that I just met for like one day, and all of a sudden I have 6 weeks with them. You know, hey Nisa, I need your help, and then I paid her. I paid her part of the money that I got for that, so it wasn't like I was just using my child for free labor. So she was compensated, but at the same time, what she took away from that, which again I wasn't thinking about at all, was this sense of, oh wait, I do know this, and I have a responsibility to be able to pass it on. If I don't know it very well, then how am I going to teach it to someone else?
Right.
And I think that finally clicked in them. So then, for the sake of teaching, how do we then instill that? And maybe not everyone is meant to have that instilled in them. Some people have the natural responsibility to go there and train and do their best, go home and practice and all that, and that's it. But there are others who, like I think you and I, we kind of fall in love with it. We fall in love with the journey, the learning, the process. And the teaching aspect is just another part of it, a very necessary part.
Yeah, absolutely. Without that part of it, then, I've always equate teaching somebody how to do something fixes whatever flaws you might have.
Mm-hmm.
Because it teaches you to do things correctly.
Right.
It forces you to do the right things based on what you were taught. So that, you're not giving somebody your sloppy version of it.
Right.
You're giving the exact version of how you were taught. So by teaching it, you become a better student yourself.
Right. And by doing it shortly after they've learned it, then you don't give enough time in between to develop all the bad habits and then forget what the original lesson was.
Right.
Okay, so that seems to be the combination of it. Get them teaching as early as possible with whatever they understand the most, and give them that responsibility. Give them room to make those mistakes. To if I could add one thing to what you were just saying, and continue the lesson that way instead of chastising them. That was completely wrong. You're stupid. This is the right way.
Right.
Which, believe it or not, seems to happen sometimes when students do start branching out on their own. They've been with somebody for 10, 15 years. They open up their own school. They start teaching. All of a sudden, your old master comes in and starts looking at what you're teaching. And the first thing they do is start critiquing, you're doing that wrong. Oh, you should teach it this way. Yeah. Oh, you should do it this way. And even though it's been 10, 15 years, you're grown adults, the both of you, isn't that almost equivalent to saying, you're stupid, you're doing it wrong, do it this way? And I don't know about you, but if my teacher said that, well, actually, you know what? I take it back. My teacher does say that all the fucking time.
Only because you are.
It's true, but, I take it with a grain of salt. But if my other teacher said that to me, it would hurt my feelings very, very bad. But, again, I've been very lucky to have the type of instructors that are willing to work with what I'm able to do and not so much tell me that I'm doing something wrong, but they enhance what I can do, and that's awesome. And they allow me to teach, which has really been very helpful in my personal growth. And apparently it seems to be a replicated event with Nisa. And
I think she's enjoying being in class all the time. Mm-hmm. She's always got this big smile.
Yeah.
No matter what she's learning, whether she gets hit or not, she's still smiling.
It's like, ow, that hurt, but keeps on fighting.
and she has a smile about it. So I'm really happy that she's this excited. You remember when we first...
she's like,
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was excited the whole way through. Yeah, I was that kid. They'd be like, oh, you guys are having the advanced class? I don't have to participate, but can I just sit here and watch for the next 2 hours? Yeah, that was me. So, but I'm a different story altogether. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Nisa and how proud we are. Because as a papa...
one of the things that I notice about Nisa is that when you show her something, she'll really try to break it down or tear it apart and see what it is you're actually saying. And then she'll start doing exactly that.
Yeah, like most people get this far-off look. She gets this like super focused...
Yeah, as if she's really trying to analyze what's coming out. Yeah, And she actually even told me I'm very analytical about things. I said, yeah, I go, kind of like your dad, but your dad is more anal than analytical. So
Yeah,
that's the difference, right?
I'm retentive.
Retentive. Yeah. But she's awesome, when she says things like that to me, and she actually shows that.
Right.
Then you really have to believe that she's really there for the purpose of learning, and because she enjoys it so much.
And believe it or not to toot your horn too much, that's in big part because of you. Oh, you instilled in me, if I say something, I do something.
Right.
What I say and what I do are the same. They match. So, for the past 10 years, I've also been showing her that. So
Yeah.
she's picked up on the idea that, yeah, if you say something, it's because you're going to do it. So if I
Yeah.
say I'm going to pay attention, I'm going to pay attention. If
Yeah.
I'm going to practice, I'm going to practice.
One of the things that I saw over the weekend, because I was showing her something, and she was doing something that wasn't quite right. And you know me, I'm a real stickler.
Oh yeah, you don't let it go on for
Yeah,
very long.
no. I'll stop and say, hey, look at it this way. And the moment I made the corrections, she understood. Oh, I get it. And right after that, it was perfect every time, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
That I think that's one of the biggest joys that I have about her, is that she's able to fix whatever it is at that moment.
Right.
You know.
Instead of falling back into it because she's just done it for so long.
Right. I'll be right back.
All right. Is it a tree guy?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. All right, folks. So Rick has to take care of some personal stuff, but I just have to say, as a father, I couldn't be prouder of my child for the growth that they've shown, the level of maturity, and the intelligence that goes along with it. He's not here, so I'll be happy to admit, yes, she is far smarter than I was at her age. She's definitely far more responsible than I was at her age. But also, she's had me as a father, which I think is a big plus, because I got to give myself some credit. Her mother too, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But the point is she's come a long way in a short period of time, and as much as I'd love to give myself credit, as much as I would love to give Rick credit for that, a majority of that is her own journey, her own individual perspective, and being given the space to be able to explore that and figure it out for herself. And I think combination of that and everything else we talked about has really yielded the results for her as a student and a practitioner. Take it as you will. If it's helpful, great. If you have your own comments and ideas on how to go about doing so for your students, please feel free to share, because we can never learn enough. So thank you very much for joining me on another one of Nain's Shorts. Until the next one, 3, 2, 1, cut!
Really be thoughtful of where you put your stick. Once you get my hand, quickly go to the body stuff. Once I do this, hit that hand, go to the body stuff, right? I'm going to react to them the way somebody would if they got me. So don't worry about that. And there'll be times where you're going to hit my stick, right?